So the carnivore diet, should you try it? Well, we're going to try and give you some of our opinions on that and kind of some of the background on why we have those opinions on that. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. So the carnivore diet was popularized by Dr. Shawn Baker, and it consists of mainly meat with some eggs and dairy included. Is it healthy? That's kind of really the crux of everything, right? Losing weight's one thing; being healthy is a separate question. So clearly there are instances in history and even nowadays of different cultures, who subsist primarily on meat. You think about the Inuit in the Arctic region, the Maasai in Eastern Africa, and even in ancient times or historical times. I don't know what qualifies as ancient, but some of the Native American tribes in the Plains regions of the United States subsisted on a primarily meat-based diet.
Well, and then I think a lot of people that have followed the carnivore movement and been interested in it quote the study that was done by Stefansson.
I think they call it. They say, I don't know him.
He had, he lived in the early 1900s, and he had lived with the Inuits for like a decade, and actually there's a really interesting article. It comes across as like his diary, like his account of this. So we'll point to that if you are really interested in digging deep into the carnivore diet. It is really worth a read. It's very interesting. But basically, he goes into his diet paradigm before he joined these Inuits, and then how his diet paradigm changed after a decade of living with them. And he went so far as to, when he got back, lock himself in the Bellevue Hospital for a year with a buddy of his, and they subsisted themselves completely on animal, no plant foods whatsoever. And he did well on this, but it also goes into a couple of the, there's a couple of caveats. They didn't just eat, steaks. So we will get into that as we go. But anyway, I will point to that study.
Isn't Bellevue Hospital now like a mental place?
Well, it seems like it, right?
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't it seem like
I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. I'm just kidding. So when we're kind of evaluating any kind of new diet thing that comes out, we look at a few different things. So one is who's the authority behind the diet. So in this case, there are a handful of good authority people behind this. Dr. Paul Saladino, Dr. Ken Berry, both big proponents of the diet. And they're not schleps, right? So number two is the research behind the diet. So in this case, there's no research on the carnivore diet and any kind of positive impact on health. And there are a lot of case studies.
Right, case studies.
So, people go on a diet and they lose weight, but that's not the same as research.
Right.
That is anecdotal. It's not, while it's interesting, it doesn't give any credence to this being a healthy diet, right? Now, another thing that, I have a little bit of issue with is that this is kind of referred to as our true ancestral diet. And, I don't know that that's quite true either. And, most of the science that I've seen is that ancient humans were hunter-gatherers, that they ate both meat and plant material, and typically, whatever was, they were opportunistic, right? Whatever was available. Right. So I don't know if it's our true ancestral diet just to eat meat. So my opinion is, while it sounds fantastic to eat ribeye every day, and people have told me that that's how you do the carnivore diet. You eat ribeye every day. Even the proponents of eating carnivore are going to tell you that you need to eat nose to tail. And you think about that. That means you're eating, the brain, the heart, the liver, the kidneys. The organ meat is going to be much higher in nutrition. And in fact, your predators and things in Africa, they're going to eat all the insides of the animal they kill first. The ribeye, that's the last thing that they're, this is not my ribeye, of course, but it's the last thing they're going to eat, because that is the least nutritious, parts of the animal. So, in my experience and what I've heard from people who left comments and different things, like the regular Joe Schmo, and pardon me if your name is Joe Schmo, I apologize. That's really unfortunate. But if you're just kind of the regular Joe and you're just doing the ribeye, you're just eating steak, whatever cut, but you're not doing the other parts of it, you're not getting very good nutrition at all. And personally, I just don't like liver. I had liver when I was a kid, and I don't want to eat kidneys, and I don't want to eat the heart, and I don't want to do that stuff. So that's kind of where I fall.
And I guess if we look at my opinion, which parallels in many ways, but one way it doesn't parallel is that it would not thrill me to just eat ribeyes. I mean, I like steak, but I don't love it for every single meal of my day. So there is a lack of variety for sure. That would be a problem for me and probably a lot of people. Yeah. I do have to totally agree that we as a society are not interested in eating nose to tail. And that is so many micronutrients that you are missing out on. And it's, that one's hard for me to dispute. I think that really takes away from the health factor of this. I think that if you are eating nose to tail, I think this could work, but I don't know that it would if we eat and just go to a restaurant and get a steak.
Right.
But I do think that this can be utilized as an elimination diet. And what I mean by that is sometimes we have trouble digesting healthy foods, and so we have to go on an elimination diet, and so we want to get rid of any type of food that could have an inflammatory effect on our body. So if we were to, say for instance, get rid of all plant foods, well, what would that eliminate that's inflammatory? Well, sugar, right? Because sugar is a refined grain, basically. Right. And it would eliminate gluten, which is a problem for some people. Right. So, right there, we could look at the carnivore diet as a short-term elimination diet. So you go on just meat for, not an extended period of time, a month maybe at the most. Yep. Then you can slowly start adding back in whole plant foods and see how you feel. It helps you figure out what food is exactly giving you problems.
And meat allergies are very rare in human population. Yeah. So that's why, typically as an elimination diet, you're going to be pretty safe with that.
Yeah. And then the other area that I want to talk about is something that is very controversial with people that are proponents of the carnivore diet, and that is fiber. Is it necessary or not? It's funny, when I was teaching nutrition courses, like fiber was like the king nutrient. Like we talked about it all the time, and how important it was for your health and everything. And now it's really come under fire as this, like, we don't need, there's these people, we don't need fiber. Well, so I don't know that we know everything that we do need to know about fiber. One thing that I do feel very confident in is that the bacteria that live in our gut feed on fiber. And it's funny to me that fiber's coming under such scrutiny now at the same time as we're learning about the gut microbiome. Yeah. They seem to, you would think that fiber would be coming more important in our diet. Yeah. But what our gut bacteria do with these fiber, with these little pieces of food that make it the whole way through your system because they can't get digested, is they digest them. And when they digest them, they turn them into short-chain fatty acids. These things are very important for us. They have a whole body anti-inflammatory effect, and they're very important for the health of your colon. Right. So if colorectal cancer, which is a major cancer in our society, is a problem in your family, you need to evaluate your need for fiber.
Right. Short-chain fatty acids are the primary fuel source, actually, for that single layer of cells that lines your gut. Yeah. It's very, very important. Yeah. Yeah. So fiber. And I know that somebody is going to, put something in their comment down below with a link to the study that refutes fiber. And you don't have to do that because I have it. And I know that there are, there's a couple of studies now that have come out that refute the need for fiber. However, that doesn't outweigh, the stacks of research that contradict that and say that we do need fiber. So, until that happens, I think we're gonna be pro fiber on this one. And again, so this is our opinion. We base a lot on the research. We want things to be healthy. Weight loss is a part of being healthy or getting healthier. Weight loss in and of itself doesn't mean health. I mean, there was a diet way back when that you ate a couple of heads of iceberg lettuce every day, with some fat-free dressing or whatever they were doing back then, and you lost weight. I mean, awesome.
That would work.
Was it healthy? Not at all.
Not a whole lot.
I mean, terrible, right? Not sustainable. No, none of those things.
Right.
So, right now we're of the opinion that in good conscience we can't really recommend the carnivore diet. If there's some good research that comes out behind it, if it starts to be substantiated, we do think as an elimination diet, it's probably a good choice. And if these things do start to kind of sway, I mean, we'll change our opinion on that. We have no problem with that. Right now we have to say, eh. So that's where we are. That's it. Please don't crucify me in the comments. I know that there's a lot of carnivore fans out there, and I know you like it, and I totally get it.
Yeah. And if that's your choice, that's your choice. We're not making you change.
Yeah, go easy on me, please.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe, hit the bell icon. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.